Hello everyone. Welcome to Sam's Summaries. This episode is a deep dive discussion into Sam Fury's summary of Chapter 7 from the book Models by Mark Manson. It has been created with the help of AI. The chapter is titled Demographics. You can read the original post at samfury.com.
All right, everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always excited to dive in.
Today, we're tackling a topic that might seem kind of basic at first, but trust me, there's more to it than meets the eye. We're talking about demographics and their role in dating. And for this one, we're going deep into Chapter 7 of Mark Manson's Models.
A great choice. That chapter is packed with insights.
Get ready to have your mind blown, because we're going to explore how something as simple as where you hang out can impact who you date. Like seriously, your chances of meeting a fellow bookworm are probably higher at a bookstore than, say, a football game.
It sounds obvious when you put it like that, but it's something we often overlook.
Totally. And, we'll even be diving into how the beliefs you hold about dating, like whether you think most people are trustworthy or not, can actually shape your experiences.
It's all about those self-fulfilling prophecies.
Exactly. All right, so let's get into it. One of the first things that jumped out at me from the chapter was how Manson emphasizes the power of our environment.
It's easy to fall into a routine, going to the same places, doing the same things.
Right, and then we wonder why we keep meeting the same types of people. It's like, duh, if you're always hanging out at a certain type of bar, you're probably going to meet people who also like that type of bar.
It's like a self-selection process. You're drawn to environments that align with your interests, and naturally, so are other people who share those interests.
Makes total sense. I remember a few years back, I was super into rock climbing. Guess what? Almost everyone I dated during that time was also a climber.
See? You were subconsciously putting yourself in situations where you were more likely to connect with like-minded people.
It's kind of wild when you think about it. So if you're out there looking for a specific type of person, like someone who's passionate about art, maybe step one is to think about where those people hang out.
Exactly. It's not about forcing yourself into spaces you don't enjoy, but about strategically exploring environments where your ideal partner might be.
So ditch the tech conference and hit up some art galleries.
Exactly. Or maybe join an art class, volunteer at a museum. You get the idea. And hey, even if you don't meet the one right away, you're still broadening your horizons and learning new things.
I love that. It's like a win-win. Okay, so we've established that demographics matter, especially when it comes to shared interests. But how does this tie into, like, the deeper aspects of compatibility? Like that undeniable click you feel with certain people?
Ah, the click. That magical feeling. That often signals a deeper connection, one that goes beyond superficial commonalities.
Because, like, you just get each other.
Right. And Manson suggests that shared values play a huge role in creating that sense of connection. And this is where things get really interesting. He argues that our beliefs about dating, even the ones we're not fully aware of, can actually influence our experiences.
Whoa. Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So imagine someone who walks around with the belief that all the good ones are taken. That belief might lead them to avoid putting themselves out there, to act guarded or skeptical.
And by doing that, they're essentially creating a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly. They're subconsciously sabotaging their chances of finding someone who is, in fact, available and awesome.
Wow. I hadn't thought of it that way before. So it's not just about being in the right place at the right time. It's also about having the right mindset.
100%. If you're carrying around a bunch of negative beliefs about dating, those beliefs are going to color your interactions.
So, like, if you think most people are untrustworthy, you might act more closed off, even if the person in front of you is totally genuine.
Exactly. And that can create distance and prevent a connection from forming.
So much of this is happening below the surface, isn't it? It's those underlying beliefs we might not even be aware of that are driving our behavior.
That's why self-awareness is so crucial in the dating game. It's about taking the time to examine your own beliefs and identifying any that might be holding you back.
Okay, so deep down, we all want to know, how much do the classic factors like looks, age, and financial status really matter? I mean, or those things truly make or break?
They definitely play a role, but their importance might be less than you think. Take age, for example. Studies have shown that men in their 40s can be perceived as just as attractive as those in their late teens or early 20s.
Wait, seriously, that's kind of blowing my mind. I always thought attractiveness peaked in your 20s.
It's not about the number on your driver's license.
It's what's more about the whole package.
Totally. Style, grooming, presentation. A confident 40-year-old who takes care of himself can easily outshine a younger guy who's not putting in the effort.
So it's about embracing your age with confidence and style rather than trying to fight it. Makes sense. What about finances, though? I mean, it's no secret that financial stability is attractive, but does it always come down to having a massive bank account?
It's more about demonstrating responsibility and a sense of security. And keep in mind, societal expectations around finances often shift as we get older.
Yeah, it's like there's this unspoken script that says the older you get, the more you're expected to have your financial act together.
Right, but those are just expectations. Ultimately, what matters most is finding someone who aligns with your values and makes you feel good. Speaking of feeling good, let's talk about the role of social proof in attraction.
Oh, interesting. I was actually just reading an article about how our brains are hardwired to value things that other people value.
A classic example is that long line outside a restaurant. You automatically assume the food must be incredible.
Exactly. It's like if everyone else wants it, it must be good.
Right.
So how does that play out in the dating world?
Well, when someone is seen as popular or well-respected within their social circles, it can enhance their attractiveness.
So it's like a halo effect. Being valued in one area of life translates to being more desirable in the dating world.
You got it. And the cool thing is you can actually cultivate social proof.
Oh, really? How so?
Think about the activities you engage in. Leading a volunteer project or taking on a leadership role within a community organization. These actions demonstrate positive qualities that boost your social proof.
It's not just about saying the right things. It's about taking action and living a life that reflects your values.
Exactly. And those actions often speak louder than words when it comes to attracting a partner.
Okay, so we've covered demographics, beliefs, and now social proof. Feels like there's so many layers to this attraction thing. But if I had to boil it all down to one key takeaway, I think it's this. Be yourself.
Absolutely. Trying to be someone you're not is exhausting and ultimately unsustainable.
It's like wearing a mask. Eventually it gets tiring, and people can sense that something's off.
The key is to embrace your quirks and imperfections, because who wants to attract someone who's not genuinely interested in who they really are? It's so true, you know? When you try to be someone you're not only doing yourself a disservice, but also potentially misleading the other person.
Right. It's like setting yourself up for failure from the get-go.
Exactly. And, this all ties back to what Manson talks about in terms of figuring out your own identity and what kind of relationships you truly want.
So it's like reverse engineering your love life. Instead of just hoping for the best, you're taking a step back and figuring out what you actually want and then working backward from there.
Exactly. And part of that process is understanding not just where to meet people, but also why you're drawn to certain places.
So it's not just about blindly going to every social event or signing up for every dating app. It's about being more mindful about the environments you're choosing and what those environments might signal about you.
You got it. For example, if your go-to spots are always bars or clubs, that might suggest you're comfortable in those settings and maybe looking for something more casual.
But if you're hoping to find a deeper, more meaningful connection, those environments might not be the best place to start.
Exactly. It's not about judging one type of social scene as better or worse. It's about being honest with yourself about what you're hoping to find and then choosing environments that align with those goals.
I like that. It's about being intentional and choosing environments that feel aligned with the kind of connection you're seeking.
Totally. And remember, it's not just about the type of place, but also the energy and the vibe you're putting out there.
Right, like think about the difference between a book club meeting and, say, a music festival.
Perfect example. One might be more conducive to deep conversations and getting to know someone on a more personal level.
While the other might be more about shared experiences and just having fun in the moment.
Exactly. Again, it's not about one being better than the other. It's about choosing what feels right for you and what you're looking for.
This reminds me of what we were talking about earlier with demographics. It's not just about age, location, and income, but also those demographics of shared interests and values.
Oh, absolutely. Finding your tribe, so to speak.
Exactly. And that tribe might evolve over time as you grow and discover new interests.
That's a really important point. It takes the pressure off feeling like you have to fit into some predefined mold. You can explore different aspects of yourself and see where you feel most at home.
It's like you're constantly adding new chapters to your story, and those new chapters might attract a whole new cast of characters.
I love that analogy. It's all about embracing the journey of self-discovery and recognizing that who you are and what you want might change over time.
And being open to those changes and allowing yourself to evolve. So We've covered demographics, beliefs, social proof, and the importance of authenticity. It feels like there's a lot to unpack when it comes to attraction.
It's true, there are a lot of factors at play, but the good news is you don't have to master it all overnight.
Right. It's about taking it one step at a time and gradually incorporating these insights into your life.
Exactly. And just remember, you have more control than you might realize. By understanding these dynamics, you can make more conscious choices about where you spend your time, the activities you engage in, and even the beliefs you cultivate.
It's like becoming the architect of your own love life.
Precisely. And the foundation of that architecture is self-awareness. So take some time to reflect on your values, your goals, and the kind of relationship you're seeking. Then ask yourself, how does my current lifestyle support or hinder those aspirations?
It's like taking inventory of your dating toolkit and figuring out which tools are working and which ones might need a little sharpening.
Exactly. And don't forget, we're not talking about trying to change who you are at your core. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, the version that feels most authentic and aligned with your values.
Because ultimately, isn't that what we all want? To find someone who loves and appreciates us for who we truly are.
That's the dream, right? To find someone who just gets you.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of dating demographics, what's one final thought-provoking question you'd like to leave our listeners with?
I'd ask them to think about this. Now that you've considered the places you frequent and the people you encounter, ask yourself, why do you choose those places? Do they align with the kind of person you want to be and the kind of relationship you're hoping to attract?
That's such a great question to end on. You know, it's so easy to just go with the flow and not really think about the why behind our choices.
We're creatures of habit.
Totally.
Yeah.
But when it comes to something as important as finding a partner, taking the time to examine those habits and see if they're actually serving us, well, that's a game changer.
Absolutely. And it's not about beating yourself up if you realize some of your patterns aren't aligned with your goals. It's about using that awareness as a springboard for growth.
It's like, okay, now I know this. What can I do differently?
Exactly. Even small shifts in your thinking and behavior can have a ripple effect.
Right. It's like that saying, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
So true. Sometimes we just need a little nudge to shake things up and break free from those autopilot patterns.
And who knows, that new hobby you decide to pick up or that volunteer opportunity you finally say yes to could lead you to the love of your life.
You never know what's around the corner.
Or at the very least, you'll become a more interesting and well-rounded person. And that, my friends, never hurts in the dating game.
You've got that right. It's all about adding those layers of depth and complexity to your life.
Well, I think we've covered a ton of ground today on this fascinating topic of dating demographics. This has been such an eye-opening conversation, and I hope our listeners are feeling inspired to take some of these insights and apply them to their own lives.
Me too. It's all about empowering ourselves with knowledge so we can make more conscious choices.
Absolutely. And by understanding those internal and external forces at play, we can create more fulfilling dating experiences and, who knows, maybe even stumble upon that special someone along the way.
And as you go about your day, try to pay attention to those, attracts-like patterns. You might be surprised at what you discover.
Oh, I love that. It's like we're giving our listeners a little social experiment to try out.
Exactly. Have fun with it.
On that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Huge thanks to our expert for all of these incredible insights.
It's been my pleasure.
And to you, our amazing listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey. Until next time, happy dating, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in to Sam's Summaries. If you found this episode useful, let us know with a like, follow, and share. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to visit samfury.com to get free access to all of Sam's original summaries, which you can download as PDFs, as well as other exclusive content. It's all completely free at samfury.com.